Was it good? No. Will I read the next one? Yes. Hi friends and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming at you with a rant review, and that review is for 5 Broken Blades by Mai Corland. Mai Corland? Mai Corland. I knew from the start of this book that this was gonna be a rant review. This is a book that I started to see around various social media platforms. I saw booktubers haul it. I think I saw it occasionally on BookTok. I do sort of feel that it's just from the marketing, it's riding on that fourth wing wave and is attempting to become another BookTok hit. So that's why I sort of associate it with BookTok. I stumbled upon this book when I was book browsing in one of the bookstores in Stockholm, and what caught my eye was this very gorgeous cover, these stenciled edges, the pitch right here on the back that says "Let the best liar win," and then also the description of it. Actually, I thought it sounded a lot of fun and right up my alley, and I have so many opinions now since I finished it. I really, where do I start? If you're looking for quality, it's not here. We don't know her. If you're looking for an adult Six of Crows, you're gonna be disappointed. If you're looking for some fast-paced entertainment where there's no need for any sort of brain power and everything is spelled out for you, this is her. I don't know if I'm gonna be that cohesive throughout this video or not. I'm mainly gonna be ranting, but let's talk about the plot just a tad bit so you're caught up on what this is. This is an adult fantasy novel. It's the first in a trilogy and it was released in May of this year. The story is told through multiple characters' point of views. We are mainly following 5 characters. We are following a thief, a prince, a poison maid, a hitman, and a spy master. And also a 6th character that is just there. And they are all coming from different parts of this universe, this world, and they are coming together to kill the current king of the empire, the kingdom. As the author or the publisher describes it, it's a dark adventure fantasy full of deadly liars, grey morals, and kingdom-destroying secrets. There are a bunch of trigger warnings. There's an author's note at the start as well, where Mai describes how she has drawn from Korean mythology and sort of been inspired by that when she wrote this book. It takes place in a unique setting that is inspired by my research of Korean myth, legend, and culture. Plot-wise, these 5 liars, these 5 traitors coming together with the purpose of killing the king of Yusan. That is the story, and that is literally all you need to know, because other than that, there really isn't much plot to the story. This book gets incredibly fast-paced, but that's because each chapter is like 3 to 5 pages long, or 5 pages on average. We keep skipping between point of views. If you're looking for a very fast-paced and entertaining read, this is it. I've seen from reviews that many really enjoy that part about this book, that it is so fast-paced and you keep skipping between point of views. I did enjoy that myself. It makes it for a very easy read, I would say. I'm personally never really want to consider whether a book is written in first person or third person, but with this one, it was so blatantly obvious. This book is written in a first-person present tense, which is an interesting choice, and I don't think it favors the book. The writing in itself, I have so many opinions on, and that's where we're gonna get. It's not necessarily that the book reads too young, it's that it reads too simplistic, and not in a good way. There's a lot of lazy writing, I would say. We have scenes at the start of the book where a character looks themselves in the mirror and describes what they see, and that's how we get the character description. We have moments when we are skipping action scenes and they are just simply retold to us or explained after, because I don't really think this author knows how to write those action scenes. Sorry. And there's also a lot of just telling, not showing. This book has a major case of telling, not showing. And the thing with the writing, being that simplistic, being that not good, is that it takes you out of the story. On multiple occasions, the writing would baffle me and I would be like, hey, wait, what? What am I reading now? It brings me back to when I was like 13 and the types of books and fanfiction I read back then. Once again, it's not that it reads too young, it's just that that sort of writing feels quite amateur. I know I'm sounding very harsh on this book, but that's just because the writing is not that well executed, and I feel like it should have gone through multiple runs of editing before being published due to that. Another thing that the writing is lacking is world building. There really isn't any world building. Sure, you have a map at the start of the book, but other than that, there really isn't any world building, any sorts of descriptions, and the character's entire journey is just very convenient. And regarding how this book might draw from Korean mythology, honestly, other than the fact that kimchi was mentioned as a dish once in this one, I don't really see the parallels. Yeah, okay, sure, the names might be influenced. Let's discuss more about the characters, because the characters is where it's at, okay? We are playing with every single archetype that you can think of, okay? It's so stereotypical, it's so textbook. We have Ari, who is a very annoying girly girl. We have Royo, who is your cussing, hard-shelled hitman, but is actually really soft at the core because of previous heartache and heartbreak. He says fuck and fucking all the time because he's a baddie and wants to show you that he's badass. We have Sora, who is your typical strong femme fatale. She's beautiful beyond measures, she has violet eyes and she can kill you with a kiss. Literally. We have Mikhail, who is your scheming, secretive mastermind. And we have Yun, who is your truthful and humble and kind prince. I feel like this book is playing so hard into the stereotypical archetypes, and it really makes the characters quite two-dimensional. You know these characters based on other things you've read. There's nothing new and refreshing about them, which is sad. Once again, it makes it very simple to read. You can understand these characters instantly. There's never really any mystery regarding these characters, I would say. It's pretty upfront from the first page where they are introduced, what type of people they are, but that's also what makes this so lacking and so uninteresting by the end of it, because there's no depth to the characters. They are what they are on the first page, and that's that. You will never need to worry about getting to know these characters, because you will know them instantly, straight away. They will share all of their secrets with the reader. Don't you worry. There's no room for any mystery, no build-ups of any kind. If someone has a past love, you will know about it. If someone is in love with someone, you will know about it. If someone has family drama, you will know about it. If someone is fighting for their freedom, you will know about it. You will know about everything. They have no secrets to you as a reader. Once again, you don't need to use your brain to figure anything out. They are serving it to you on a silver platter, okay? It's so annoying. It's like, oh, here we can sense some sort of foreshadowing. Here we can sense some mystery. But 2 sentences later, they will explain it to you. So you're never really allowed to have that feeling of wanting to learn something, of wanting to figure out why someone is acting the way they are acting. You're never really given the chance, because as soon as that hint is given, you get the answer straight away. And that frustrated me so much. There's like so many instances where I was like, ooh, this could be interesting for this character. But then I was explained the character's reasoning in the same page. And it's like, well, now I know that. Duh. There's something nice and good and well in keeping some sense of mystery regarding your character. Especially in a more epic fantasy, I would say. Keep that mystery, okay? It will make the character so much more interesting. So basically, as a reader, you're never really in the dark. The author is shining a bright-ass flashlight on the characters and the plot and the story from the beginning. You're gonna be blinded by how obvious everything is. I believe this is also marketed as a romantasy, meaning a romance fantasy. I would not say it's that heavy on the romance, actually. There are very obvious pairings in this one. Once again, right from the beginning, these 5+1 characters are instantly paired together, and you see who likes who and have feelings for who and is attracted by who. It's blatantly obvious from the start, and the love confessions throughout the story are so sudden, and not sudden for us the reader, but just like there's no slow burn, there's no substance to these love stories. They just are, okay? These two are paired off together, they're gonna be a couple. These two are paired off together, they're gonna be a couple. Simple as that. There's nothing around that. There's nothing. So yeah, there's really never any development in either the relationships between the characters or in the characters themselves. They are basically the same as when we started to read about them. So no development of any sorts. For me, I experienced this book in 2 parts. Basically, it's the first half of the book where we are following the characters and they are each in different parts of the world and they are all traveling to one place in order to meet up and then execute the plan of killing the king. I would say that's one part when we are following each character's journey. And then I would say the second half of the book is when the characters have been brought together and are now setting up the plans for their mission and are working towards the goal of killing the king. The fact is, I really do prefer the first part. I feel like the dynamic between the characters once they meet up and start planning this mission together, it doesn't feel natural. You don't see the development of the relationships between the characters. All of a sudden they are trusting each other and are fighting for each other. Considering that these characters, they are supposed to have trust issues and they are assassins and killers, it doesn't seem believable that they are trusting each other so easily. And the same thing is regarding this mission overall. No one ever asks any questions at all about this mission. They just accept it and move on. Why are we killing this king? Why does anyone here want to kill the king? Why is the spy master who works for the king coming up with a plan? Isn't that odd? No one questions it. No one asks any questions ever, and I think that's so odd and so unbelievable considering what type of characters these ones are supposed to be. They are supposed to have trust issues, and yet somehow they trust everyone and everything in regards to this plan instantly. One of the characters says so himself actually. I tabbed a quote. This plan is pretty flimsy. That's another thing as well. The language in this one also doesn't make sense. I'm not certain if the author is trying to be serious or if she's trying to be witty and down with the kids. I don't know when to date this book really, but it's not taking place in a universe where there is internet and cell phones, that's for certain. So I feel like the language is so off because it's very modern language in how casual they are speaking. They say bell instead of hours. So it's like, oh, I'll see you in 1 bell. We'll have dinner at 9 bell. Or something like that. In one scene, they're talking about, oh, can we have 5 pints of ale? And then they switch to beer. And I don't know, it's things like that, small details. Once again, as I mentioned, takes you out of the story because you're focusing so much more on the writing and the low quality of it. I'm sorry, but it's true. As I mentioned, the author is trying to be witty. Here I have a quote that's like, whoa, I need better standards for the men I fall in love with. Ho ho, hashtag relatable. I don't know. Here's a case of the author trying to be deep and serious. The quote is, he's too busy running from the past to love in the present. I mean, I could have liked it, but it feels once again so out of place somehow in the context of this book and how it's written otherwise. So what did I rate this book then? I actually don't know. So the thing is, writing wise, like it's bad. It's really bad. No world building, stereotypical archetype characters, poor writing, lazy writing, poor execution, but, here's the but, it's very fast-paced, it can be entertaining, and I definitely understand why some people might find this quite addictive in its storytelling. It has those components. I'm honestly struggling with how I should rate this one. Spontaneously now on Goodreads I have rated it 2 stars I think, because the quality is so poor. But as I said at the start of this video, was it good? No. Will I read the next one? Yeah, I will. I somehow, on some level, did still enjoy the story, and I am curious if the author's writing will improve. I hope it will, because if it will, even just the slightest, the next book can be pretty alright actually. So I do think I will pick up the second book, which I think it has already been announced. The marketing, by the way, let's discuss that in a second. The sequel has already been announced. It's called Four Ruined Realms and it's planned to be released in January of 2025, so not even a year after this one was released. The marketing, let's discuss the marketing, because I don't get it. Did no one else read this book before sending out all of these major contracts? Like, the marketing that's gone into this book, just look at it. Look at the effort that has gone into the publishing and creation of this book. Now, no, this is not the only special edition of this one. I believe it's like 4 different special editions of this one online. And it's gotten a broken binding edition, it has gotten a Goldsberry edition. And I don't know about you, but for some reason when I think of the broken binding and of Goldsberry, I do sort of think of quality. And this being not that feels very off to me. Once again, I feel like it's trying to ride on the hype of Fourth Wing and so many other romantasy books that have gotten big lately. This isn't a review or rant about book talk books or romantasy or anything like that. As I mentioned, I barely feel like there's any romance in here. Sure, there are some, not even explicit scenes, but more like hints at explicit scenes. And yes, there are romantic pairings, but it's not a romance. It reads more fantasy and adventure to me. So like, no hate to the romantasy genre. I love romantasy. And no hate to book talk books. I feel like the praise they're getting is well deserved, and I'm always incredibly impressed by books that can go viral. So like, kudos to the marketing team, because like, the fact that you managed to do this as well as the other editions of this book with what this book is, kudos. I'm so confused and conflicted about this book. My rating of it might very well change actually. As I said, I think I rated it 2 stars for now. I might up it. Perhaps this will be one of the books that just sticks with me and I will keep thinking about. Even though there aren't any details, it's a captivating story. I am glad I picked this one up. I do love this edition. I spent a lot of money on a book that I don't particularly like. That feels a bit weird. But still, I like the experience I had of reading this. I liked feeling like I was up to date by reading a recent release. I like the fact that I can make this video. So like, the overall experience of purchasing this book has definitely been worth it. I'm so in awe of what this book has done. It has made me think so much about the writing. So I'm very curious now if any of you have read this book and what your thoughts were on it. Did you enjoy this book? What did you think of the writing? Please share that. Perhaps I'm in the wrong. This book took me for a ride, which I'm very glad I got to experience, but it also made me question so many things. I hope you enjoyed this ranty sort of review. Once again, please share your thoughts about the book if you have read it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed. Please take care and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!
You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what comes after